Now, this is not only about criticizing things Donald Trump said. We are now going to talk about things Hillary Clinton said, which don't make a whole bunch of sense. They make a little sense, but not that much. Hillary Clinton, over the last week or so, has really been talking a lot about cryptocurrency. She's very concerned about cryptocurrency, and she stumbles across a whole bunch of things that make no sense and a couple that do. Now, I'm going to remind everybody my view on cryptocurrency. I'm not some big crypto maven, and I'm also not against it in principle. I believe that, like every other financial instrument, stocks, bonds, real estate, precious metals, foreign stock, whatever. Cryptocurrency is a tool. There are some who say it's not really an asset class because it's gambling or whatever. Okay, listen, I mean, at this point, it seems pretty clear that at least for the foreseeable future, crypto is here to stay. I have said that my decision years ago was to get about 3 to 5% exposure to cryptocurrency because it's done so well. It keeps becoming a bigger and bigger portion of my assets, and I then sell it down and move into things that I consider to be less volatile. It's a tool like any other, and there are pros and cons like with everything else. Let's listen to the first clip here. This is from the Rachel Maddow show, and listen very carefully to what Hillary Clinton says.
I want to mention one other thing that is on the horizon that people are only beginning to pay attention to, and that's the need to regulate the cryptocurrency markets. Because imagine the combination of social media, the algorithms that drive social media, the amassing of even larger sums of money through the control of certain cryptocurrency chains. We're looking at not only states such as China or Russia or others manipulating technology of all kinds to their advantage. We're looking at non-state actors, either in concert with states or on their own, destabilizing countries, destabilizing the dollar as the reserve currency. There are so many big questions that the Biden administration must address. I just don't think we have much time. And therefore, I hope from everything I'm hearing from them that that's exactly what they're going to try to do.
Now, there are little bits and pieces of reasonable stuff there mixed in with a lot of very strange claims. This was the second time in this short period of time that Hillary talked about cryptocurrencies. She also spoke remotely at a Bloomberg conference, and she had very similar comments to make. Take a listen.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency. Because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. So first of all, she says you're literally mining coins. No, it's metaphorical mining. It's computers doing stuff. Literally mining is actually mining. Mining means mining. Here, what we're talking about is computers solving cryptographic problems, right. It's not literally mining, which is just weird. But at the end, there's something she mentioned twice, which is really what this is all about. The idea that cryptocurrency might challenge the status of the dollar as the reserve currency. Now, there's a lot of confusion in there. Hillary Clinton rightly identifies that, for example, there are ways in which countries could and can use cryptocurrency to circumvent economic sanctions. That's a legitimate problem. It's a completely legitimate problem, and there are proposed solutions to it, but that's a real problem. The backwards part is the whole reason China doesn't want crypto is because they manipulate the yuan, and they don't want something they can't control to become common. Okay. And so then you've got this idea of the digital yuan, and it's a complete and total mess, but it's kind of the opposite. Like, China's trying to keep crypto out in order to not even have the yuan challenged. But she says, well, they're going to use Bitcoin or whatever mainline crypto to try to destabilize the US dollar, which, number one, wouldn't be great for China because they hold so much US debt. And number two, China actually seems to be going the other direction, which is just trying to ban crypto. And it's really an example of one of the top skills of being a politician, which is speaking really, really confidently about something you don't fully understand. She sounds like she knows what she's talking about, and she stumbles across some things that are real. But then there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there that really doesn't make sense. And it's actually sort of surprising that the handlers, of which she has many, did not put together kind of more coherent talking points. But maybe those are the talking points that they actually want. Now, the other thing is there's always this kind of alluding to cryptocurrency being used for crime. New report suggests about 1/3 of crypto transactions are related to criminal activities. I don't think that's a very good argument against crypto in my mind. But I think it's something we hear frequently. But really what this is about is the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. China holds a ton of it. Japan holds a ton of it, although you much more rarely hear Japan mentioned because they're not considered adversarial in the same way. But I think that, listen, how can I say this? It's increasingly seeming to me like crypto is here to stay. And seeing people blindly say it's bad and I want nothing to do with it, to me seems more like digging one's head in the sand rather than saying, oh, this is now something that is going increasingly mainstream. Let me give myself a little bit of exposure to it. And that's not financial advice for anyone in particular. It's just the story of what I did in my thought process in the 3 to 5% range for me. And let's see what happens as part of a diversified long-term approach to financial assets and tools. And at the end of the day, I see cryptocurrency as a tool, quite simply, end of story. Let me know your thoughts. We'll take a quick break and be back right after this. One of our sponsors is CuriosityStream, the only subscription streaming service that specializes in documentaries. I watch CuriosityStream on my TV, phone, and computer. CuriosityStream always has so many titles I can't find on Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. A much better selection of documentaries than any of those platforms. Documentaries on science, nature, history, politics, tech, music, psychology. I just finished watching Man's First Friend. Tremendous film about dogs, or dogs, as some say. If you love documentaries and learning, CuriosityStream is something you must have. They always have the newest, most critically acclaimed titles. And CuriosityStream is giving my audience, that's you, 25% off a subscription, which comes out to just $15 a year. Go to curiositystream.com/Pacman. The link is down below.